24 hours ago, City Council member J.B. Smiley Jr. sat right here and laid out his proposal for Memphis to press pause on data center developments. Thanks for joining us. For 3 at 3, I'm Alex Coleman. Right now, the council is scheduled to debate that ordinance in an executive session. We've heard so much about the potential impacts of data centers on the environment and our public infrastructure, but what do they mean for the economies around them? Here to weigh in on that side of the debate is Greater Memphis Chamber Chief Government Affairs Officer Bobby White. Bobby, glad to have you back on 3 at 3. Good
Absolutely.
to see you.
Always
as
a pleasure.
Always.
Absolutely.
Give us the other side. What are we missing here when it comes to this proposed moratorium?
Yeah, I think that something we first of all need to recognize is that I think there's like a generic view of data centers that does not match the reality that's on the ground here for us. I mean, we're 2 years into that major project that kind of put data centers on our mind. There's plenty of evidence and metrics and things that can be looked at that could answer many of the questions that I believe people have about data centers and impact. But here's the big part. Pressing pause or imposing a moratorium, that is like toothpaste out of the tube. That's not something from which we're able to recover. A year is, let me say this, a month is a lifetime in the life of a business. A year is an eternity. So the idea of pressing pause and imposing a moratorium for a year is something that I feel to be untenable. It's something that I believe we can avoid by just getting answers to questions around data centers.
But what about future data centers? We already know what we have right now, but what about going forward, Bobby? What do we need to do? Do we need to study it some more, as the council member said we need?
Listen, let me be very clear here. Imposing a moratorium, and those who are against imposing a moratorium, like myself and the chamber put out a statement earlier, MAMCA, African American Contractors, they put out a statement against imposing a moratorium. No one is saying that you cannot take a deeper look, and actually there might be some things you want to actually do differently. One of the things that we've been talking about is how can we better leverage those data centers and their investment outside of just the tax benefit. But again, I think the idea of imposing a moratorium, I don't think that people understand that that is an impact that will go nationally. And it's almost like one of these things. The headline of imposing a moratorium will be huge. Lifting a moratorium would be a whimper. Quite frankly, a year long, people will make business decisions. People will go other places. Memphis would not be building on the momentum it already has at this point.
But Bobby, you will have some saying, well, other cities are doing it. Other cities have hit pause. Why can't Memphis do it?
Yeah, I was at a conference, it was a Chamber of Commerce conference, and they asked me to actually lead a session, anti-growth sentiment. And what I'm hearing around the country is there really are some horror stories. There's some cautionary tales to be had. But as I began to talk through what we are doing and what we have seen, quite frankly, we're in a very unique position in a positive way. When you begin to look at 20 and 40 and 60 millions upon millions of dollars going toward a wastewater facility that the company will be building, investment that they are making all around, the ways in which we have this 25% ordinance. I mean, the end of the day, Alex, I believe we're going to have to differentiate this general feeling and hesitancy around data centers from our reality locally. And here's the other part. Council members are unique. They actually have access that the normal citizen does not have. They don't have to go trove Beyonce's internet to get answers to questions around data centers in Memphis. They have resources like the MLGNW. They have the Office of Planning and Development. They actually have EDGE, the Economic Development Growth Engine. They can talk to these individuals to get a lot of the concerns and fears assuaged around data centers. There's not a generic no to data centers. There's more information to be known, and we're open to helping support that.
And when it comes to that, though, Bobby, have we had enough conversations, especially in all of our communities, because you'll have some folks saying, whether they're in Boxtown or some others, we did not really hear or feel we were a part of this conversation. Should we have done this differently or better?
Well, I would always say this. There are always opportunities to be expanded more, right? But I will say the chamber, our role, we're the tip of the spear when it comes to economic development. We don't get money from government. So the idea about us being in the space of going out and doing that type of work, this is when you want to lean on government. You trust government to know more than you know. You trust them to do their homework and get it right. So for us, we have seen that government officials, and those are the individuals that we want to make sure they are well informed, because their voice means something, and we want them to be able to share the good information. If we had to do it all over again, I believe that there should have been more to be said about how elected officials themselves should get the great information, the good information, the accurate information, not the misinformation, and be able to share that out widely.
When it comes to the wastewater facility that you talked about earlier, so it will be built. A lot of folks have been saying, wait, it seems like it's been pushed back, it's been delayed. What do you want people to know about that? I
think we have to recognize there's something major that happened when SpaceX actually acquired XAI, and all of the back and forth there. And again, I don't speak on behalf of the company, but just the idea of some months delay, people should not be discouraged by that. We have gotten, it's been affirmed back to us from SpaceX AI, as it has been to the mayor, as it has been to members of the city council, that this is something that will get done. And again, this absolutely unique. When people talk about water usage, people don't understand that the standard has always been that for industrial uses, you use water from the aquifer. This is a paradigm shift in terms of what will be built, and I think it will be a standard that others can follow.
Can this still pave the way for Memphis really being at the centerpiece of technologies like this in the future?
Yeah, we have to be careful about this, because I heard a council member say that people will still want our assets. Yeah, but guess what? People can come to the region and access our assets without being in the city of Memphis. We have good examples how they've been in, they're now in eastern Arkansas and they're in northern Mississippi. But if we want to really truly benefit from it, we want them in the city of Memphis. Last thing I'll say is this. The city council member mentioned to me, they just had 330 nonprofits to come to them looking for funding from about $2 million. I'm saying to you, there's an opportunity here right now where we can not press pause, not put a moratorium in place, but we can figure out a pathway forward, how we can better leverage the investment that we're seeing and actually support and do some very transformative things.
Bobby White, we appreciate you being here to share the other side of the story.
I appreciate that very much. Thanks as always.